All right. Good morning. Again, this is Wednesday, April the 8th, 2020. This is today's second video. The first video you may have already seen was reflecting on the Tuesday task. Today, we're going to build on our exposure, use that term a lot this year, to Google Sheets and some other things that we can do with it. Today, we're going to look at graphing. So how we can take data that's presented in a Google Sheets document and go ahead and create a graph from that data. So that'll help us present the information in a visual and understandable way. So I'm going to walk you through an example of how we can take data. I'm using the data from the introductory task yesterday again, as you can see. And I'll walk you through the process of how we can create a graph and how we can link a graph to a doc and a few other small skills. Again, thanks for being here today. Thanks for being interested in this information. Again, not mandatory, but just an opportunity to gain exposure to some skills that are available. Okay. So we have here 5 students, Amber, Billy, Cardi, Deshawn, and Andy, and they've each taken 5 tests. And we'd like to create a graph from this data. So the first thing I want to do is I want to highlight the cells that have the information that we'd like to transfer into graphic format. So I'm going to start in cell A1 here, and I'm going to highlight all the cells. Okay, as you can see, they're all highlighted in light blue tone at this point. And I'm going to go to the insert function, which is right here. I'm going to click insert. And if you scroll down, you'll see here where it says chart. Okay, so I'd like to insert a chart based on the data that I've highlighted. So I'll click chart. It does take a moment to start processing this. Now, what you'll notice here is that it defaults to a bar graph that may or may not be what we want. As we see here, the default graph that it's created for us takes each of the 5 students and creates a bar for each of their 5 test scores. This is helpful for seeing trends. Okay. But I'd like to combine this into a line graph if I could. So I'm going to show you some things here. I'm just going to move my camera spot here because we need to be able to see. There we go. We need to be able to see the chart here on the right. Okay. So the first thing we want to look at right at the top of the setup when this comes up, the chart editor, is the type of graph, the chart type. Okay. So I'm going to click on this here, and it suggests a bar graph, and that's fine, but I want to use a line graph here because I want to see how their test scores change over time. Okay. So when I click that, it changes the graph to look like this. Now, again, there's much to learn about using these functions, and by no means am I expecting us to become highly proficient with this in just a small mini lesson here. But again, like our previous activities, I just want to give you some exposure. I want you to play with this so that you become a little more familiar with it, and we'll continue to practice this over the coming weeks. Okay. Now, I just want to show you a few things here. Okay. First thing I want to do is I'm scrolling down, I'm switching the rows and columns because I want the x-axis here to be test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the vertical axis to be the course. So each student now has a colored line. Okay. And that was at the bottom of the setup. Now, this graph isn't really effective. It's very cluttered. It's hard to see. So there's some customizations here that we can use to make this graph a little bit more personalized and probably a little bit easier to read. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Customize tab, and there's a bunch of sub-menus here. Okay, so chart axis and title. Awesome. All right. So at this point, the title isn't very appropriate. So it just says test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I can pick what I would like to be. So in this box here, I'm going to change this to student test scores. And as you can see, it edits as we go. And again, I can change the font of that. So I can change it to wide. I can change the color of it or the font of it, font size. So make it 20-point font. Maybe I want a different color. Maybe I want it blue. So, and as I make those changes, the graph itself changes. Okay. So I'm good with the title. Okay. At this point, so I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. Now, if I want to change the axis title, sorry, wait a second. The horizontal axis title. Okay. It says student, actually. We want it to say test. So test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's been edited. The vertical axis title, that would be our score. There we go. Okay, so now we have proper labels, test on the x-axis and score on the y-axis. Okay, so we can change that now. Series. Okay. Let's look at, scrolling down to the vertical axis. Now, all the data is very cluttered here because everybody scored 50 or higher on the test. So there's nothing in the bottom of the graph. So now this can be misleading, but we will talk about this a little bit later on. If we look here for the minimum value, since the lowest score is still above 50, I'm going to put 50 as the minimum score. And it spreads the graph out tremendously like this. The maximum score would be 100. Okay. With this being said, I've now created a line graph that's color coded. Each student has a colored line which represents their test scores. We can see trends. Again, if we look at this carefully, the one thing that really stands out to me is Sean doing pretty well, a really poor third test, and then really well on 4 and 5. So that's kind of like that outlier that's been created here in this graph. Now, like I said, there are many other things that we can edit. Grid lines, for example. So notice how there's no real grid lines other than on the 10s. So there's a grid line at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. If you click on grid lines, you can add what are called minor grid lines. So those are grid lines that fall in between those labeled values. So I might put one minor grid line, and it's hard to see here. It's a very light color, okay? But I could change it if I wanted to, something a little bit darker. So now you can see it. It's nice and dark. So those grid lines fall in between the 50 and the 60, for example. So that grid line that we see here represents 55, okay? Nonetheless. So, like I said, I would like you to, when you have the opportunity to inserting the graph, editing it, playing with it, seeing how you can modify it. So I'm going to close this temporarily, right, the editor. I'm going to move my screen to the side here. Now, we've got this graph, and as you can see, it kind of overlays our data that we had. Okay, so we can kind of move it to the side. Okay, but more than likely, we want to take this graph and insert it into some type of presentation that we're making. So how do we do that? So in the top right corner here, there are 3 dots. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go down to copy chart. So I've copied the chart. Okay, now I've got a second document ready to accept this graph. So let's say I'm making a presentation about the Math Award candidates. So there's the title of my doc. I'm now going to paste the graph in. So I'm going to hit Control V, and this option comes up. Okay, so there's 2 options. You can link it to the spreadsheet or paste unlinked. Let me explain the difference between the 2. I would like to link the spreadsheet. I'm going to use this option because what that means is if I have to go back into the spreadsheet itself and change some data, let's say, for example, here, Cardi's first score wasn't 98, but rather 68. It was a typo. normally what would happen if the graph is not linked, when I change the data here, the graph wouldn't change. And so the graph would be incorrect based on the data. But if the graph is linked to the spreadsheet, anytime an addition or an edit is made to the data, the graph will change. Okay, just let me show you this really quickly. So Cardy's score, which we see here in kind of orange, is 98. If I were to change this really quickly to 68, you'd see her graph line go down to 68. It changed the graph. Okay, so I'm going to switch it back to 98 for now. And again, it goes back up. Okay, so if you don't want your graph to be edited by a change in the document, you're afraid that somebody could change the information and then change your graph, then you would paste it unlinked. But I'm going to paste it with a link to the spreadsheet. Okay, so, and this is what we see. Again, I'm kind of in the way here, so I'm going to move myself out of the way. So the graph has been placed in. Okay, so we can use this to help present information. Again, we can change the data. So I'll go back to here and I will change, again, I'll change Cardy's data, for example, to say 68. It changes the graph here. Now, when I go into this document here and I click on the graph, it hasn't been changed yet. So at the top here, there's a button that comes out that says update. So I will click the update, and Cardy's score went from 98 to 68 to reflect the changes that we made in the spreadsheet. Okay. So, like I said, there's lots to learn about this. By no means am I expecting perfection. Again, the word I've used multiple times this year is exposure. I just want you to be exposed to this functionality. I am going to give you some spreadsheet to work with, a Google Sheets form with some data already provided. And I'd like you to kind of walk through the steps we've just demonstrated here to create your own graph. There's nothing that needs to be submitted today. If you would like to submit your graph, like I did here, I'll give you a template where you can create your own doc with your name on it and share it with me so I can take a look at your graph and give you a little personal feedback. That's great, but there's nothing that needs to be submitted to me today. Today is just almost like a play day, exposure day, and I hope you have fun with that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk soon. Bye.